3 poems. The first poem is called Hadil. I wrote Hadil when a Palestinian girl called Hadil was killed when a rocket hit her house. This was before 2008 even happened. And it was just a little line on the news, and no one even stopped to talk about it or make a big deal of it. It was also around the same time where they were discussing using women spokespeople for the militaries. This was around the time of Iraq. And this was supposed to be a great idea because death was softened if it was a woman spokesperson. So in all of the military marketing magazines, they were saying the US military should learn from the Israeli military and start to use women as spokespeople. And so I wrote this poem about that. The word Hadil actually means the cooing of doves. That's in Arabic. That's why I used the word within the poem. Hadil was 9. Just this morning, Hadil was 9. Hadil is 9. No, I apologize. Just this morning, Hadil was 9. Hadil. See, they said everything must stop, rockets must stop, resistance must stop, terrorism must stop, or they will continue to shell Gaza until we give up the bit of dignity we have left, until we sign what they want, elect who they want, and die in silence the way they want. You see, Israeli security is absolute. It is written in blood and bulldozers and the art of women spokespersons. Because death is softer coming from a woman. Death is more polite, they tell me, coming from a woman. But who? Which one of you will tell Hadil's mother that nothing changed the day she died? Who? Which one of you will tell Hadil's mother that nothing changed the day Hadil died? Not a pause, not a tear, next meeting, next train, next cigarette. Nothing changed the way Hadil died. And who will tell Hadil's mother, busy baking bread and za'atar, that Hadil is gone, forever gone? And the doves will not fly over Gaza again. The doves will not fly over Gaza again. The doves will not fly over Gaza again. Hadil is gone. Forever gone. And her brother Ahmed lost his sight. Hadil, every prayer I remember and half remember won't bring you back. Every prayer I remember and half remember won't bring you back, as you wrap yourself in stories of Palestine. Wait for another soldier to knock down your door as the skies still rain down Israeli shells. As the skies still rain down Israeli shells. Hadil, who will tell Hadil's mother? Which one of you will tell Hadil's mother that nothing changed the day she died? Not a pause, not a tear, next meeting, next cigarette, next train. Is this worth a press release? Solidarity from afar, like a sick joke, a bad story to tell a child. But the doves will not fly over Gaza again. The doves will not fly over Gaza again. Hadil is gone. And they tell me, they taught me as a child, they taught me, don't cry for martyrs. Don't cry for martyrs. Don't cry for martyrs. Carry on the fight, carry on the fight, carry on the fight, carry on the fight. But for Hadil, give me a moment of silence. No. Give me a moment of sincere resistance. Sincere resistance. Where you get up. Stop watching us on your TV screens. We are not statistics. A moment of resistance. So you can hold on to the bit of dignity you have left for Hadil. Second poem I'll do is a much angrier poem. I wrote this poem when we were similar to the action you have on your campus with the walls and the displays. We had put an apartheid wall and we were making a checkpoint, and we we were Palestinian citizens and people dressed as Israeli soldiers, and while I was on the floor, a young man came and kicked me and said, "You deserve to be raped before you have terrorist children." And I was completely in the role, so I didn't respond to him. I was baffled. I mean, what do you say to something like that? You deserve to be raped before you have terrorist children. There's not much to say. But then I wrote this poem. And this is an angry poem, as I say, and it does get loud at the end, so don't panic. اسمحوا لي أن أتكلم بلساني العربي قبل أن يحتلوا لغتي أيضا. Allow me to speak my Arab tongue before they occupy my language as well. Allow me to speak my mother tongue before they colonize her memory as well. All my grandfather ever wanted to do was wake up at dawn and watch my grandmother kneel and pray in a village hidden between Jaffa and Haifa. My mother was born under an olive tree on a soil they say is no longer mine, but I will cross their barriers, their checkpoints, their damn apartheid walls, and I'll return to my homeland. I am an Arab woman of color, and we come in all shades of anger. All my grandfather ever wanted to do was wake up at dawn and watch my grandmother kneel and pray in a village hidden between Jaffa and Haifa. Could you hear my sister screaming at a checkpoint? With Israeli soldiers looking between her legs for their next demographic threat, called her baby girl Janine. And did you hear Amna Muna screaming behind their prison bars as they tear-gassed her cell? We are returning to Palestine. I am an Arab woman of color, and we come in all shades of anger. But you tell me this woman inside of me will only bring you your next terrorist, beard-wearing, gun-waving, towel-head sand nigger. You tell me I send my children out to die, but those are your copters, your F-16s, in our skies. And let's talk about this terrorism business for a second. Wasn't it the CIA that killed Alende and Lumumba? My grandparents didn't run around like clowns with white capes and white hoods on their heads lynching black people. So let me break it to you. There's no good occupation and no moral army. I am an Arab woman of color, and we come in all shades of anger. So who's that brown woman screaming in a demonstration? Sorry, should I not scream? Did I forget to be your every Orientalist dream? Genie in a bottle, belly dancer, harem girl, soft-spoken Arab woman? Yes, master. No, master. Thank you for the peanut butter sandwiches raining down on us from your B-52s, master. Yes, my liberators are here to kill my children and call them collateral damage. I am an Arab woman of color, and we come in all shades of anger. So let me just tell you, this woman inside of me will only bring you your next rebel. She'll have a rock in one hand and a Palestinian flag in the other. I am an Arab woman of color. Beware, beware, beware my anger. Pointed out to me the other day that at the end of every apartheid week, I get sick and I lose my voice, and now I know why. So, one more day to go. I'll just end with, we teach life, sir. Yeah. I wrote this poem as the bombs were dropping on Gaza in 2008, 2009. I was going into a media interview. I had prepared all night for the media interview, stayed up till hours of the morning preparing for the interview. And then the question I got asked was, why do you Palestinians teach your children to hate? And I think it's important to look, because someone asked a question about the media, it's important to look at how the media asks these questions. Because if you can look a woman in the eyes and tell her, why do you teach your children to hate? You've really dehumanized her to such a level that you're basically saying, You don't love your children, you don't care what happens to them, and that this is how you Palestinians are. It's the most dehumanizing question someone can ask you, but then to ask it with a straight face like it's a normal thing to ask is absolutely disgusting. And I held myself together at that point and gave my 30-second soundbite that I was supposed to give, but then I wrote this poem later. Today, my body was a TV'd massacre. Today, my body was a TV'd massacre that had to fit into sound bites and word limits. Today, my body was a TV'd massacre that had to fit into sound bites and word limits, so I perfected my English. And I stayed up and I learned all my UN resolutions. I perfected my English. I learned all my UN resolutions, but still, he asked me, Ms. Ziadah, don't you think that everything would be resolved if you Palestinians would just stop teaching your children to hate? Pause. I look inside of me for strength to be patient. Rafeef, remember to smile. Pause. I look inside of me for strength to be patient, but patience is not at the tip of my tongue as the bombs drop over Gaza. Patience has just escaped me. Pause. Rafeef, remember to smile. You're on camera. Rafeef, remember to smile. Pause. We teach life, sir. We teach life, sir, after they have occupied the last skies. We teach life, sir, after they have built their settlements and their apartheid walls. After the last skies, we teach life, sir. But today my body was a TV massacre made to fit into sound bites and word limits, and they need a hook. Every journalist needs a hook, and they need a personal story, you see. Don't talk about that word, apartheid. Don't mention occupation. We just want human stories. You have to help me as a journalist. You have to help me as a journalist to help you to tell the story of your people, which is just a personal story. This is not political. We don't want politics here. Don't mention apartheid. Don't talk about occupation. We just want human stories. Human stories. How about a story of a woman from Gaza who needs medication? Just medication, not occupation. How about you? How about you? Do you have enough bone-broken limbs to cover the sun? Hand me over your dead. Hand me over your dead. Give me the list of their names, but make sure that it's in 1,200-word limits. Today, my body was a TV massacre that had to fit into sound bites and word limits made to hook those that are desensitized to terrorist blood. But they felt sorry. They felt sorry for the cattle over Gaza, so I give them statistics, and I give them UN resolutions. I give them statistics and UN resolutions, and I use their language. We condemn, we deplore, we reject. These are not two equal sides. Occupier and occupied. We condemn, we deplore, we reject. These are not two equal sides. Occupier and occupied. And 100 dead, 200 dead, 1,000 dead. And in that space between war crime and massacre, in that space between war crime and massacre, I vent out words and I smile, not terrorist. I vent out words and I smile, not exotic. And I recount, 100 dead, 200 dead, 1,000 dead, 100 dead, 200 dead, 1,000 dead. Is anyone out there? Will anyone listen? I wish I could just wail over their bodies. I wish I could just run barefoot in every refugee camp and hold every child, cover their ears so they wouldn't have to hear the sound of bombing for the rest of their life the way that I do. I wish I could just run barefoot, hold every refugee child, cover their ears so they wouldn't have to hear the sound of bombing for the rest of their life the way that I do. Because let me tell you, there's no soundbite. No matter how good my English gets, no soundbite, no matter how much I practice, there's no soundbite, no soundbite, no soundbite, no soundbite will bring them back to life, and no soundbite will fix this. We teach life, sir. We teach life, sir. We Palestinians wake up every morning to teach the rest of the world life, sir.
you.